Hello and welcome to the video, and I hope you're all good. Now this is a video that I wanted to make for a little while now. Obviously it's taken me years to put together a collection of both digital and film cameras, and I thought it was in a good place where I could share it with you. I've got a lot of the bases covered that I wanted to cover, and if you're anything like me, you just like looking at cameras, so I thought it was quite a nice time to make a video about that as well. Now this isn't a flex, it's not showing off saying look at all the cameras I own. These are all tools that I've bought to do specific jobs, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I go through each individual camera. Now the best place to see the images that I create with these is on Instagram, so I'll leave a link in the description. Go and follow me on Instagram and you'll see some of the images that I produce, and I do use all of the different cameras at different times as well, so you will see different examples on there. But like I say, that's a good place to start to see some of the images. Now we'll go through each individual camera, but I will leave chapters in the description below if there's a specific camera that you want to jump to. So the best thing for us to do is get started and take a look at some of the cameras. So I'm going to start with the digital cameras, and in particular the little Ricoh GR1. Now this is a fantastic camera purely for its portability. It's so small and tiny, it can fit in most trouser pockets, and it's an absolute joy to take out with you. Now the truth is, a lot of the time I forget that I've even got this camera on me, it's so small, so I'll end up taking a photo with my phone and things and forget that I've got this with me, and it's been absolutely brilliant to shoot with. I've owned a few GRs in the past, and I've always had a few issues with things like I've had lenses die on me and things like that, but this feels really well built, it feels good, and I've not had any particular issues with it, and just for its portability alone, it's an absolute must. So really good camera. So next up is the Fuji X100V. Now I've used the X100F in the past, thought it was amazing, and finally decided during lockdown to buy myself the X100V. Now there's a few different accessories on here that I know I'll probably get questions about, so what I'll do is my next video will actually be some of the about the accessories that I use for this camera. But overall it's fantastic, really impressed with the image quality. It's relatively portable as well, you can fit it in a bag easily enough, and just one of those cameras that I really go straight to pick up if I'm heading out the door. So fantastic little camera, and I'm sure you'll see more videos about this as I go along. So I mentioned earlier that a lot of these cameras are tools that I buy for specific jobs, and the Canon M50 is a prime example of that. This is literally just a vlogging camera, so I bought this for filming myself when I'm doing kind of vlogs like this and tutorials and things. Now unfortunately we've been in lockdown, so there hasn't been too much of that going on recently, but the M50 is a great little camera. The autofocus has been really good on this. Bought the Sigma 16mm lens, so I've got that slightly nice wider field of view. Really enjoyed using it, very reliable little camera. Not going to blow you away or anything like that, but certainly gets the job done. And for vlogging and things, I don't think you're going to do a lot better than this for the price and things. So very happy with the little Canon M50. And then there's the Canon RP, which is what I'm filming on here. Now this is a permanent setup, so I'll show some B-roll just of the camera setup and things. And this is basically left in position, so I can just turn it on and go straight to recording. And again, if you want to see a video about my little YouTube setup and things like that, leave a comment below and I'll happily put a video together about that. But the RP has been fantastic. Now I did want to buy it to go along with the camera that I'll show you in a second, and obviously having the RF mount and things is useful when you're trying to put together a package of lenses and things. So the RP has been great. Now I haven't used it for stills or anything, so I can only comment on its video, but the autofocus has been great. It covers all the video needs that I need it for YouTube and things, so absolutely no complaints with that. So next we have the Canon 5D Mark III. Now this camera is very special to me. It's a camera that I kind of turned pro with, and has got like the vast majority of like all of my favourite images that you'll see in my portfolio and on Instagram and things were probably taken with this camera. And it was the big step up from going from like a beginner, like consumer kind of camera to an actual pro level camera. And really, like, you know, that was a huge thing for me. So I absolutely love this camera. Does it still hold up in 2021? Not so sure about that. I think the autofocus will probably be a bit lagging behind, and some of the image quality's probably moved on considerably from that. Can you still get a good image out of this? Absolutely. It's a very, very capable camera, even by modern day standards, but there are better options out there if you're looking to buy new. But fantastic camera, and this is probably one of the cameras I would never sell just because it means so much to me. And finally, for the digital cameras, we have the EOS R. Now, I've had this for a couple of years now, and it's been an absolute workhorse. I was a little bit unsure about it when I first bought it, but it's been brilliant. It does everything that I need for stills and video. And you might be saying, well, why haven't you upgraded to the R5 or the R6? And the truth is, it does everything I need, and rather than going and spending thousands of pounds to get features that I'm not particularly going to use, I just thought I'd hang on to this. And it's been fantastic. I haven't had clients say that they need 4K or 8K or anything silly, so this does what I need for video work, and the stills look great. So I've got absolutely no issues with it. The other thing I'll mention is that you'll see that I've got a lot of different like filter holders and things like the Pro Mist filters on these. I try to keep my cameras so that I can interchange between them, so that I can literally swap a filter off one camera onto another camera, and they all share the Arca Swiss plates as well. So if I'm moving one camera to another tripod, they all work. And again, if you want me to do a little video showing some of the accessories that I use, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to put that together. But yeah, the EOS R is my absolute go-to. This gets all of the client work done and has been fantastic. No need to upgrade just yet, and more than happy with it so far. So if you'd like to help out the channel, I will leave a link below, but basically you can help donate to the channel and help keep these videos coming. Now, I do spend a lot of time on these videos. I do buy a lot of the equipment to be able to review and talk about and things, so it is quite costly and quite time consuming to me. And if you'd like to keep these videos coming, I really would appreciate any support that you can give me. But I appreciate we're all in a really difficult position at the moment, and we're not exactly, you know, overrun with cash. So even if you can't make a donation, if you can just hit the like button and consider subscribing if it's your first time here, I'd really appreciate that as well. So thank you for that. So I would imagine for a lot of people this is where it gets more interesting with the film cameras. And again, being a small camera fan, the little Ricoh GR1 has been fantastic. It's a little 35mm film camera, incredibly compact, very much like the GR3 that we've seen earlier, can fit in a pocket. But for a film camera, it's, you know, it's incredibly small. It's got good autofocus, really reliable. One of the biggest problems and a common fault with these cameras is that the LCD on the top, as the cat joins us, the LCD on the top is going, so it doesn't exactly display the frame count and things on it very well. But you can work around that. You tend to know what's going on with it, and more than happy with the results with this camera. It's been great and really enjoyable to shoot with. So next up is the Canon P rangefinder. Now again, this is one of the newer purchases that I made during lockdown, and I'm so happy with this camera. It looks fantastic, it feels really good in the hand, and I've been really pleased with the results. Now, this was an import from Japan. There was a few issues with it when I actually got the camera, and I did have to send it off to be CLA'd, so it's actually had a service on it. Feels like new, feels really good. and I'm glad that I spent the extra to get it serviced. Now again, I'll probably do a full video about this camera itself, so hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see that. And I'm also going to put together a little video describing buying cameras second hand, some of the common pitfalls that you can have, and also why you would get a camera like this serviced and CLA'd. But in terms of actually using the camera, it's been brilliant, really enjoyable to shoot with, and you know, just looks fantastic. It's a really nice looking camera, so very enjoyable to shoot with, and more about this camera to come soon. So next up we have the EOS 30, which is a 35mm film camera, but has a look and feel like most modern kind of DSLRs. And this is the kind of camera that I recommend that people just getting into 35mm film photography actually go to as a first camera, because of that familiarity, because it feels very similar to shooting with a modern DSLR. Now obviously, being a film camera, there's certain considerations that you need to make with it, but it's been fantastic, really enjoyable to shoot with. I think the body alone only cost me about 30 or 40 pounds, so fairly accessible and fairly cheap to buy, but really, you know, really enjoyable to shoot with. So a great starting place for those just looking to get into film photography. So next up we have the Mamiya 645 Pro. Now, I have made a previous video about this, but I've got a little bit more shooting under my belt with this camera now, and I absolutely love it. I've added a few different accessories to it and things, just to make it a little bit more comfortable for my shooting style, but I'm always super pleased with the results that I get from this camera, and it's just an enjoyable shooting experience as well. And again, very similar to the EOS 30, for those people just looking to get into medium format film photography, I think the Mamiya 645 Pro is a great place to start. It has a lot of kind of similar features and things that you might already be used to, but the results are fantastic. Now, I haven't got enough good things to say about it really, and there's been very few downsides with it, but yeah, good place to start if you're just looking to get into medium format film photography. So when I first got into medium format film photography, I automatically knew that I'd want to step up to a larger negative size at some point, and that's where this comes in, the Fuji GSW690III, and it's an absolute tank of a camera. It's called the Texas Leica, with good reason. It's absolutely massive, but it's actually really fun to shoot with as well. Now, for those of you that know these cameras are probably looking at what's going on with the front of this, and I have basically taped a Pro Mist filter to the front of it. I know, you know, complete sacrilege for most people, but I wanted a way of putting a Pro Mist filter on the front of it, so I've actually sellotaped one to it, and this camera's been incredible. I've loved shooting with it. It's got some real quirks, so like when you're doing nighttime long exposures, to actually stop the exposure is really weird. You end up basically putting a hat or something over the lens to stop the light going in, and then you have to recock it, and it's just, you know, a bit of an awkward camera to shoot with. And when you're shooting in the daytime, you certainly get some funny looks as well because of the size of this thing. It looks like a toy camera, but the results are incredible. Those big 6x9 negatives, just absolutely full of resolution. The lens has been great on this camera as well. No issues whatsoever with it, and again, I'll probably do another video specifically about this, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see another video about this. And then finally, there's the big 4x5 or 5x4. I keep getting told off for saying it the wrong way around, but I'm going to stick with 4x5 anyway. So this is the Intrepid Mark IV 4x5 camera, and this is the black edition. So it's actually a 3D printed camera, so it's really lightweight. I think it's just over a kilo, and it's basically just a light type box for exposing 4" by 5" negatives. So yeah, it's a bit of a beast, to be honest, but this is probably the camera that I would go to if I had to save one of them in a fire. I absolutely love shooting with this thing. It's been fantastic. I love the process about it. It's a much slower way of shooting, but I find it really enjoyable. Composing with it can be a little bit tricky, but when you take your time and, you know, straighten everything out the way you want it to straighten, it's brilliant, and the results are just incredible. Those absolutely huge negatives, yeah, you know, completely fell in love with this the first time I started shooting with it. I do need to pick up some more lenses for it as well, but obviously, you know, there's only so much money that you can spend on these things, so might have to wait a little while for that one. But a fantastic camera. If you ever get the opportunity to shoot with a large format camera like this, I really suggest that you give it a go. It's not going to be for everyone, but I've found the process fantastic and can't wait to shoot even more with this going forwards. And again, I'm sure I'll end up making more videos about this as well. And then finally, there's a few cameras that I just have dotted around. They're a little bit like dressing, just for the YouTube videos and things, but actually those of them that still work, I do get out with occasionally and try to shoot with. They're just not cameras that I pick up on a regular basis. But again, if you're anything like me, you just love having cameras around you. So sometimes these little cheap cameras that you find on eBay can be a great purchase, even if you know that they don't work. They just look good. So always a nice thing to have around. So that is my camera collection for 2021. I'd love to hear your comments about it. So if there's any cameras that you really like or you own yourself, leave a comment below. If there's anything that you think I've missed and you would recommend that I pick up, leave a comment below. I'm not sure the budget will stretch that far, but I'd love to know what you think I should add to this collection. Now, the one big thing that's missing from this collection for me is a medium format digital camera. And I would absolutely love to pick one up, but like I say, you know, you could be looking at £5,000 or £10,000 to get into a medium format digital system, and that's just not going to happen anytime soon. I did consider basically selling pretty much all of these cameras to buy one medium format digital camera, but I think I'd miss out on so much with the variety that I've got that I just can't bring myself to sell them all and do that. Now, if there's anything else, like I say, that you think I should be looking at to add to this over the next 12 or 18 months, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if there's any particular cameras that you'd like to see more of and you'd like me to make videos about, again, leave a comment and I'm more than happy to do that going forwards. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you like looking at the cameras as much as I do and haven't just bored you for 20 minutes. But if, like I say, if you have enjoyed this, please do consider hitting the like button. That really helps the channel. And if it's your first time here and you've enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button as well. Really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Take care, and I will see you in another video.